Hello, friends. This is Quisaria, and today we are going to talk about one of the most mysterious objects that has ever visited our solar system. On October 19th, 2017, the Pan-STARRS telescope in Hawaii recorded something incredible. An object that was moving at tremendous speed through our system, and it came from somewhere in interstellar space. It was the first confirmed interstellar object and was given the name Oumuamua, which means scout or first messenger from afar in Hawaiian. But the most interesting thing began when scientists began to study its characteristics. Oumuamua had an extremely unusual shape. It was elongated, cigar-shaped, with a length-to-width ratio of about 10:1. Imagine a space cigar about 400 meters long, spinning through space. We have never seen anything like this before among asteroids or comets. Then something happened that caused the scientific community to literally explode with controversy. As Oumuamua left our solar system, it began to accelerate. I just picked up and accelerated for no apparent reason. Normally, when objects pass by the sun, their trajectory is determined only by gravity, but there was an additional acceleration. The first thought of scientists is a comet. Comets accelerate because the sun heats their ice, which evaporates and creates jet thrust. But here's the problem. Oumuamua didn't have a tail. At all. No signs of degassing. No cloud of dust and gas that always accompanies comets. Telescopes searched for these signs very carefully, but found nothing. Maybe it's an asteroid, but asteroids don't accelerate on their own. They simply fly along their trajectories, obeying the laws of gravity. And Oumuamua seemed to have its own engine. Its reflectivity also turned out to be strange. The brightness of the object changed tenfold every 8 hours, which indicates its rotation and unusual shape. It was reddish in color, which is typical for objects that have been exposed to cosmic rays for a long time. Some scientists have proposed a theory that Oumuamua could be a hydrogen iceberg, frozen hydrogen that evaporates but remains invisible to our telescopes. Others talk about a light solar sail, a thin object that accelerates under the pressure of sunlight. And Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb went even further and suggested that it could be an artificial object created by an alien civilization, an interstellar probe, or even a piece of alien technology. Of course, this is the most controversial theory, and most scientists disagree with it. But it cannot be completely ruled out. The problem is that Oumuamua was discovered too late. By the time we realized how unusual it was already flying away from our system. We did not have time to send a probe to it. We could not study it in more detail. Now it is somewhere in the depths of space, continuing its journey between the stars, and we will never see it again. What was Oumuamua really like? We can only make guesses based on the scant data that we managed to collect in a few weeks of observations. The object was moving at a speed of about 26 kilometers per second relative to the sun, and its trajectory showed that it came from approximately the direction of the star Vega in the constellation Lyra. Interestingly, if you trace its path back in time, it turns out that Oumuamua traveled the galaxy for millions of years before accidentally wandering into our solar system. During this time, he could fly past many other star systems, seeing things that we will never see. Scientists have calculated that there should be trillions of such interstellar objects in our galaxy. They travel between stars all the time, but we just didn't notice them because our telescopes aren't powerful enough and the objects are whizzing past too quickly. Oumuamua was only the first because it passed close enough to the sun and was spotted at the right time. After the discovery of Oumuamua, astronomers around the world began to monitor the sky more closely. And already in 2019, the second interstellar object, Comet Borisov, was discovered. But it turned out to be a much more ordinary, typical comet with a tail and all the classic characteristics. This only highlighted how strange Oumuamua was. There is even a theory that such interstellar objects could have brought organic molecules and even the simplest forms of life to Earth billions of years ago. Imagine, perhaps life on our planet began thanks to a similar space wanderer who crashed into the young Earth and left the seeds of life. The mystery of Oumuamua acceleration remains unsolved. Different scientific groups have proposed a variety of explanations. Could it be that its surface is covered in nitrogen ice, which evaporates without visible signs? Or is it made up of some exotic stuff that we don't fully understand yet? Or maybe cavities filled with volatile substances are really hidden inside it, which created jet thrust. Some researchers have suggested that Oumuamua may be a fragment of a planet torn apart by tidal forces when it passes by its star too closely. Such events can create objects with unusual shapes, which are then ejected into interstellar space. The fact that we failed to properly study the first interstellar object that visited us was a painful lesson for the scientific community. Now special projects are being developed to quickly respond to such discoveries. The idea is to have a spacecraft ready that can be quickly launched to the next interstellar guest. The Lyra project, for example, was proposed by a group of scientists specifically to catch up with Oumuamua. They calculated that using gravitational maneuvers around Jupiter and powerful thrusters, it would theoretically be possible to launch a probe that would reach the object in 20 to 30 years. But this requires huge financial investments and technologies that still need to be finalized. Unfortunately, so far this project remains only on paper. What is truly striking about the history of Oumuamua is how one small object made us rethink our understanding of the cosmos. Before its appearance, we thought we knew more or less what comets and asteroids looked like. We were confident in our classifications. And then Oumuamua came and shattered all our notions. Its tumbling, that is, tumbling rotation, also raises questions. Ordinary asteroids rotate more stably. But Oumuamua was spinning erratically, as if something had thrown him off balance. Could it have collided with another object? Or is it a consequence of that catastrophic event that threw him out of the parental system? Imagine the scale of this journey. For millions, maybe hundreds of millions of years, this object flew through the void between the stars. Absolute darkness, cold just above absolute zero, no light except distant stars. And finally, he enters an alien star system, where the beings on the third planet notice him and give him a name. Statistical calculations show that several such interstellar objects should fly through our solar system every year. But most of them are too small or too far away for us to notice. Oumuamua turned out to be large enough and pass close enough. We were just lucky to see him. The shape of the cigar or needle that Oumuamua had is highly unstable in terms of the normal processes of celestial body formation. To get such an elongated shape, special conditions are needed. Either it is a fragment of something bigger or the result of some unusual process. Some scientists believe that Oumuamua could be a piece of a Pluto-like planet from another star system. When such icy planets get too close to their star, they begin to evaporate, a process that can create elongated structures. Then the gravitational perturbation from the passing star could throw this fragment into interstellar space. There are also more exotic theories. What if Oumuamua is a chunk of dark matter interacting with ordinary matter in some way, in a way that we don't yet understand? Or could it be cosmic dust compressed and clumped together over millions of years of travel through the interstellar cloud? The color Oumuamua also tells its own story. Its reddish hue suggests that the surface has been bombarded by cosmic rays for an incredibly long time. These are organic compounds that change their color when exposed to radiation. The longer an object is in space, the redder it becomes. And Oumuamua was very red, which means that he traveled for a very, very long time. When astronomers tried to determine its density, they ran into a problem. They didn't have enough data. If it is dense, like a metallic asteroid, then its mass is the same. If it is porous and light as a snowball, then it is completely different. And it depends on the mass how to interpret its acceleration. The light object could have been accelerated by even a small ejection of gas that was too faint for us to notice. Professor Loeb of Harvard, who proposed the hypothesis of artificial origin, received a lot of criticism from colleagues. But he asked an important question. If we discard the possibility of an artificial origin just because it seems improbable, are we not making a scientific mistake? Science must consider all possibilities, even the most unusual, as long as they agree with observational data. He suggested that Oumuamua could be a solar sail, a thin structure designed to travel between stars using light pressure. Such sails could theoretically be only a millimeter thick, or even less, but have a huge area. This would explain the strange shape and the unusual acceleration and the lack of degassing. Of course, if this is really an artificial object, then the question arises, where does it come from? What civilization created it? And the most intriguing thing is whether it is still working, or is it just space junk drifting millions of years after the death of its creators? We don't even know exactly how big Oumuamua was. Estimates range from 100 to 400 meters in length. This is a huge difference. We only saw a point of light that varied in brightness, and so we tried to reconstruct the shape and size of the object. Imagine trying to describe a car, seeing only a flashing light somewhere on the horizon. About the same task astronomers faced. Its surface temperature was extremely low, about -200 degrees Celsius. On such a surface, any ice, except for the most volatile substances such as hydrogen or helium, would be absolutely stable. This makes the mystery of acceleration even deeper. Interestingly, Oumuamua moved almost perpendicular to the plane of our solar system. This is unusual. Most of the objects in our system move in roughly the same plane because they form from a single protoplanetary disk. But the interstellar visitor came from a very different direction, reminding us that the cosmos is three-dimensional and danger or miracle can come from anywhere. The speed with which it entered our system is also noteworthy. 26 kilometers per second relative to the Sun is quite slow for an interstellar object. This suggests that Oumuamua was moving at about the same speed as neighboring stars in our part of the galaxy. It was as if it was floating in the general stream of stars, and we accidentally crossed paths with it. Now think about it. We have only been observing Oumuamua for a few weeks. In this short time, it went from discovery to disappearance from the field of view of our telescopes. Every day, it grew dimmer and farther away, and soon even the most powerful telescopes lost sight of it. It was as if a ghost had appeared, waved at us, and disappeared into the darkness. The data we collected is still being analyzed. Scientists continue to write scientific articles, offering new explanations and models. Each new paper either confirms one of the existing theories or offers a completely fresh perspective on the problem. Disputes have not subsided for several years. What if Oumuamua wasn't alone? What if it is part of a swarm of interstellar objects ejected from some distant star system during a cataclysmic event? Maybe his brothers and sisters are flying somewhere nearby, and we just haven't noticed them yet? Or have they already noticed, but were mistaken for ordinary asteroids because they did not exhibit such strange properties? The Vera Rubin telescope, which is due to start operating soon, will be able to detect many more such objects. Astronomers expect us to find a few interstellar visitors each year, and each of them will tell us something new about other star systems, about the processes of planet formation, about how diverse the universe can be. Imagine the scale of space. There are about 200 billion stars in our galaxy. Many of them have planets around them, and all these systems are constantly throwing debris into space. The results of collisions, gravitational perturbations, explosions. The galaxy is filled with these wanderers, eternal travelers who will never find a new home. Oumuamua made us think about our place in the universe. We're used to thinking of the solar system as something isolated, its own little island in space. But this object showed us that the boundaries are blurred. Interstellar space is not so empty, and sometimes pieces of other worlds come to visit us. Maybe right now, as you watch this video, another interstellar wanderer is flying somewhere in the depths of space, heading towards our solar system. Maybe in a year, in 10 years, in 100 years, it will fly past the Earth, and our descendants will rack their brains over its mysteries, just as we rack our brains over Oumuamua. The history of this object shows us how little we really know. We are proud of our knowledge of space, our telescopes, and spacecraft. But one small object comes, and it turns out that we can't even explain its basic properties. We cannot understand why it has accelerated. We cannot say exactly what it consists of. This is a lesson in humility for humanity. Space is full of mysteries, and Oumuamua has become one of the most intriguing mysteries of the 21st century. We can only hope that the next interstellar visitor will stay longer, fly closer, and we will have time to send a probe to him to finally get answers to our questions. In the meantime, Oumuamua continues its endless journey through the galaxy. It is already far beyond the orbit of Neptune, moving in the direction of the constellation Pegasus. In tens of thousands of years, it may fly past another star system. Maybe there are intelligent beings out there too, who will notice a strange, cigar-shaped object accelerating for no apparent reason, and ask the same questions as we do. Was Oumuamua a natural object with unusual properties? Or is it really something created by the mind, a message from a civilization that may have long since disappeared? We may never know the truth, but the very fact that such questions are possible, that the universe can present us with such surprises, makes the cosmos even more exciting and mysterious. Friends, thank you for being with us on the Quesaria channel. Oumuamua reminds us that there, beyond our little world, there is something incredible, unknown, waiting to be discovered. Keep looking up at the sky, keep asking questions, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one to solve the next great cosmic mystery. Like, subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next videos, where we will continue to explore the mysteries of the universe.